Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Wilton Report, Princeton's only dedicated podcast and videocast on the local real estate market for Princeton and the greater Princeton market. My name is Josh Wilton. I'm the co-founder of Queenston Realty, founder of the Wilton Group, and the host of the Wilton Report. So welcome back to the last episode for 2024. Hard to believe. And I do want to say, for everybody who's been so supportive of the podcast, thank you. If you do watch and or listen and have not hit the subscribe button, please do. If you do like a particular episode, please make a comment. It does help reach the length and breadth of the audience. So thank you again for your support, and happy New Year, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, everything that you're celebrating in the next 3 weeks. Hopefully get a couple days off, but let's get to it. Some really interesting stuff to talk about in the market. So save the dates for next year. January 25th. I will say, this has become an interesting phenomenon. I have repeat guests every time I do a market research presentation. We call it the market seminar, market research seminar. It is a straight data dump, for lack of a better description. The January one is my favorite because we do a review of the previous year and we do a preview of what I think is going to happen in the coming year in the local market. We'll do some national stuff, obviously, but we're going to obviously focus on predictions for the local market. February 22nd, we are going to do a seminar on how to appeal your taxes. So if you're a landlord and or a property owner and you want to try to appeal your taxes, this would be the place for you to learn. And then April 17th, we are going to do a 1031 exchange seminar for landlords who want to trade up in what I do think will be a better market from an inventory perspective in 2025. You probably want to check that one out. So save those dates for 2025. More to come, but those are the first quarter dates that we have. I do want to say, my last episode, boy, I said, and I'll say it again, the Historic Commission in Princeton has created a redlining section in Princeton, in the Witherspoon-Jackson historic neighborhood, as they call it, because of the historic covenants they put on these properties. So I got a lot of feedback. I got a lot of slack. I got some snarky comments. Fine. Don't care. The very next day after I shot the episode, I went to a continuing education class, and the gentleman happened to be talking about redlining. And this was one of his slides that talked about what redlining is. And I'm going to read it to you because I was like, oh, well, it shows that I'm right. So redlining was created, covenants were created to support the regime of segregation. Cities began using zoning to keep persons of different ethnic neighborhoods and groups in their own neighborhoods. That is not my slide. That is a slide that this is a camera. I took my iPhone, took a picture of it. So it's interesting. You can say I'm right. You can say I'm wrong. You just have to admit that it's become very difficult to purchase real estate in that neighborhood because nobody wants to deal with the historic commission. Like, non-private property owners are being told what to do with their property by people who don't live in the property. That's communism, if you really want to know what it is. So anyway, I'll get in trouble for that comment too. Don't care. So that was interesting. That's all I'm going to say about redlining for this episode. Jumping to the national market, because I've gotten feedback. You guys kind of like that view. I do too. If you look at where we're at in November, we are still well below where we were for 2019, 2018, 2017. It is coming close to moving past 2019, which is good from a national supply side. However, in New Jersey, this is interesting. I picked this up this morning as I was prepping for today's episode. October 23 to October 24, New Jersey had 19% more inventory. However, that dropped 4% from November to November. It's tough. We're in a tough spot, at least definitely locally. There's not a lot of state data in today's broadcast, but New Jersey's only up 15% year over year. Obviously, Florida, 39%, Texas, 24%, California, 31%. So Maine, 41%. So, it is what it is, but New Jersey's struggling. When you look at the October 2019 to October 2024 spread, New Jersey's down 61%. We are nowhere close to coming back to normal. And, somebody asked me the other day, will we ever go back to normal in New Jersey? I don't know. We are a built out state, meaning there's not a lot of new construction in New Jersey. So we'll see. We're down 61% through October. It got 2% better in November. So we're down 59% year over year. Alaska's down 44%, California 14%. Maine is still down 40%, whereas whereas Texas, Florida, I think Arizona are doing better, Portland, Washington. So it is what it is. New Jersey is just, there's not a lot of housing. That's just sort of the basic message. So let's get into the local. On June 20th, 2024, there was 57 homes for sale in Princeton, well below what we should be. 47% of the entire market was above 2 million. I've been including this every time I've done a broadcast because it's been an interesting thing to track. July, we dropped to 47, pretty bad. 59% above 2 million. Got a little better in September. And this is definitely seasonal. That's how the market goes. You see a drop of inventory in August because, like camps end, school starting, all that stuff. So 57 in September, 58 in September, 52 in November, right? So a little bit of a drop. And then if you fast forward to today, 41 homes for sale in Princeton, 54% of the entire market is above 2 million. Of the 41 that are for sale, one is affordable housing, meaning you have to qualify for it on an income level being low, not high, and a couple of offers. So we'll see what happens between now and the end of the year. I'm willing to bet $1 that we go into the 30s. I'm doing a countdown every single day on my Twitter account, twitter.com/Joshua Wilton. So if you do not follow me on Twitter and you want to real estate nerd it out on what's happening in the Princeton market, go ahead and give me a follow there. I know Twitter may not be the popular place, but it is what it is. That's the profile. So going to today's broadcast, we're going to just talk about inventory and demand today in December. Okay. And then once we come back from the break, and I am going to take a break, we're going to start doing review preview. Obviously, the market research seminar, you really probably want to check that out. It's super cool. And again, like I said, I have people come back quarterly just to keep track, investors, homeowners, et cetera. So in a normal market, 5 to 6 months would be considered normal of inventory. We call this absorption rate. Below 5, seller's market, above 6, buyer's market. So what kind of market are you buying into or selling out of? It's important to know. Looking at Princeton, okay? 41 homes for sale this morning. Wait till you see some of these numbers coming up, by the way. It's I'm laughing, not in a good way. It's brutal for buyers, great for sellers, brutal for buyers. So I'm laughing just because it's I would use the word incredulous, okay? 41 active homes for sale, every price, style, condo, townhouse, the whole kit and caboodle, 41. 13 active and pending on the last 30 days, because that's important. You can only do a 30-day snapshot to get an accurate number. So your absorption rate is 2.9 months. So it's a seller's market in Princeton. When you do Princeton single family under 1.5 million, you drop to 9 available, 5 under contract and pending last 30 days, 1.8 months of absorption. So a little bit more of an extreme seller's market. I would argue that it's even more extreme than the numbers lead on. One of the houses in a flood zone, couple of houses are not habitable. You can't live in them the way they are. So if you remove them, you're really at a 0.5 month absorption rate, just for context. Princeton single family 1.5 to 2.5. It's become a sweet spot in the market. And I don't want to get shade for that, but it's an expensive sweet spot. So it's not a normal, this is Walt Disney World crazy, excessive. 6 active, 6 under contract, 1 month absorption rate. Now, when you jump, interestingly, 2.5 to 3.5, 10 active, none went under contract in the last 30 days, which is interesting. Now, I could go through the list and I could tell you why each one of them hasn't. There's one for 2.45. It needs $500,000 worth of work. It's not worth what they're asking. Just so you know, it's not, every house is not going to sell at or above asking price. They still have to be priced right. The work has to be, either done before you go to market or accounted for in the asking price. So that's really an infinite absorption rate as of today. That will change in the spring. Condo and townhouses below $1 million in Princeton, 3 active, 1 pending, 3-month absorption rate. The one that's really been, and we've been tracking this because we've been selling them at a pretty crazy clip here, both personally and in the office, in-town duplexes. right? So in-town duplexes, that's a side-by-side, right? A lot of them on Jefferson, Spruce, right? In town, side-by-sides. 1 active, 3 under contract, 0.33 months of absorption. So like it's a super hot segment of the market. Why? They're walkable. They're quasi-affordable. You can get 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, maybe 3 baths in town. You can't get that in a single family in town. So it's just the shift is happening there. So that's kind of a quick snapshot of Princeton. Across the board, a seller's market, with the exception of the 2.5 to 3.5. And again, I could go through and tell you why a bunch of those houses are not saleable at the price they're at. So it is what it is. That's the only sort of blip in the market that will change in the spring as stuff comes on. West Windsor, 21 homes for sale. Like that's a joke. That is, I don't know what to say. That's crazy low. 21 homes for sale, 10 active contract and pending, 2.1 absorption rate. I'm laughing because it's just, I've never seen anything like it. When you look at West Windsor, 800 and 1.5 million, which is their sweet spot for single family, 6 active, 3 pending, absorption rate of 2. But when you look at the 6 and you take out the ones on a busy road, and I'm not saying they're bad houses, it's not my gig. However, right, I always say flight to quality, flight to location in real estate is the first decision-making thing you should do. When you eliminate the ones on busy roads, just not a lot for sale in that price point in West Windsor. The condo townhouse market in West Windsor is varied. There's a sort of a market 0 to 500, Canal Point, Colonnade Point. It comes on, it's going to have 12 offers. I don't care. You can put one on New Year's Day. It's going to sell New Year's Day. Like that's how hot that market is. Especially the ones on the Princeton side, Canal Point, Colonnade Point, because you can just jog up the hill to the university. So the condo townhouse market in West Windsor, 0 to 999, 8 available, 4 under contract, 2 months absorption rate. So pretty obvious seller's market. However, the lower you go in price in West Windsor into condo and townhouse market, the lower the absorption rate, the higher the demand. So here's the basics of that philosophy. There's more people that can afford a $400,000, $500,000 condo than a $1.2 million duplex in Princeton. It just is what it is, right? So they're always going to be more in demand because they're on the Princeton side of Route 1, and you can get to campus, you can get to town pretty easily. So East Windsor, 20 houses for sale, 20 total, everything, 20, ridiculous. Again, I don't know that I've ever seen anything like it in my 20 plus years in this market. 8 active contract with pending, 2.5 months of absorption. So it's a seller's market. When you look at the East Windsor single family market, it's the same thing. I'll be delicate and just say of the 9 that are for sale, some are challenged by location, condition, etc. So people, again, real estate's about location, quality, etc. 2 under contract, so a 4.5 month absorption. When you eliminate the more challenged houses, the ones that always take longer to sell, the absorption rate in East Windsor for single families is like 0.8, just for context. The condo townhouse market, chugging right along. It's the most affordable segment of the market. It will always chug along. 11.6, 1.8 in East Windsor. This one, Lawrenceville, I will say, wow. 20 homes for sale in Lawrenceville. I don't even know what to say. Like, it's insane. 16 under contract and pending in the last 30 days. There's almost more under contract and pending in Lawrenceville than there is for sale. 1.25 months absorption rate. So if you do the single family home market in Lawrenceville, which is a massive municipality, it goes from Princeton to Trenton, north to Hopewell, Pennington. It's big. South to Hamilton. It's a really big municipality. Yeah. Anyway, 11 single families, 8 under contract and pending in the last 30 days, 1.375 months absorption. Great time to be a seller of a single family home in Lawrenceville. It kind of just sucks to be a buyer. It is what it is. And, it's a grind. So you gotta, buyers, if you're not working with an agent that's awesome, you're not going to buy a house. That I can tell you. Just get an agent that's awesome, like me. So Lawrence condo townhouses, 7 active, 6 under contract. Again, almost more under contract than pending. 1.16 months absorption. Montgomery Township, which incredibly, I deleted my slide right before we started. I apologize. When I looked 2 days ago, right, 16 active in Montgomery Township. So Montgomery Township, Skillman, Belmead, the Blue Spring Corridor. And what I mean by that are all of those townhouses along the Bruce Spring Road, right? In Montgomery. You go west in Montgomery, 16 houses for sale. 18 were under contract in the last 30 days. So there's more under contract than there is active in Montgomery Township. I've never seen it like that. I hope it gets better. It should get better next year. We'll do the preview after January. So again, if you have questions or if you have topics you want me to see me cover, feel free to shoot me a text at 609-773-8054. Again, it's 609-773-8054. I do want to say thank you to everybody who is a subscriber. I do want to encourage you to subscribe. I do want to thank you for all the support, not only the podcast, but of Queenston Realty, of Princeton Home Connections, of Princeton Property Management Services, of the Wilton Group, Princeton Abstract, all the things that we have kind of created and launched here in the last few years, 3 years. So it's been an amazing 3 years. It's been an amazing year. Thank you for your support. Happy holidays to you and your families. And that is the last episode of the Wilton Report for 2024. Thanks, everybody.